welcome to The Void, your home of Australian rock music. We're here in Melbourne at the inaugural Cherry Rock with the one and only James Young, mastermind of Cherry Bar.
Thank you very much. Well, not quite the inaugural. This is our 9th Cherry Rock in ACDC Lane, but they said we wouldn't survive, with our apartment complex and the restaurant, but who knew that making a bribe based on rock and roll and alcohol could convince the restaurant to close, and here we are, and we're all happy. This is my happiest day of the year. My mum's not too happy because it's Mother's Day, but forgive me, Mum, it's all about rock and roll. That's my spinal column. You gave it to me. You gave me the bloodline, and you somehow managed to force rock and roll into every corpuscle of my body, and that's why I'm here. But I love you, Mum.
What was the first show you ever went to that kind of really, struck you as a rock fan?
Well, thank you for asking that question, because I was obsessed with Alice Cooper when I was young. The first record I ever owned was Alice Cooper Goes to Hell, and the next 5 records were Welcome to a Nightmare and all the other surrounding records. And I was like dreaming as a tiny little 7-year-old boy. I'm looking in the paper, and Alice Cooper was playing at Festival Hall, and it was like $7 a ticket. I'm going, oh my God. And then my mum, who, by the way, my father being a cunt, had fucked off on Mother's Day and left her to raise we 3 children. And she came home in her fingerless gloves working in a factory and said, 2 tickets to Alice Cooper. And she took me to Alice Cooper. So I go to my first ever rock and roll gig. First ever gig. Out comes Cyclops and the fucking guillotine and these massive spiders, and Vincent Price is doing the walk. I'm going, I think you've got me for the rest of my whole fucking life. And that's
He was done. He's a lifer from day one.
Absolutely cannot tell you how much I love Alice Cooper. His head was above my bed head for 5 years.
Oh, bullshit.
It's true. It's a true story.
What are the how did you sort of get involved in Cherry, and what did you kind of want to do here?
Well, in a former life, I was an advertising executive. I owned an advertising company, and I sold that, and for the first time in my life came into some money. And basically, I just wanted to buy my favourite rock and roll bar in the world just to ensure I could always get in.
That's a good strategy.
Exactly.
It's funny, I was talking to someone
$0.50.
the other day. They actually said they spent their whole 20s at Cherry Bar, and it felt like home. And I first kind of heard a lot about it on the Soundwave tour, because Soundwave bands kind of felt the same way, that it was home. And I think that's really cool to kind of create that kind of an energy. And
It is actually. It's just unfortunate that during the Soundwave tour, no members of the public can get into the bar because there's like 60 bands. They're all here. We've only got a 200 capacity. Like we bat above our weight. But I remember this. I can see the Cherry Bar jukebox over there, and there's all these LA bands. I don't even know who their names are. They're little 20-year-old punk bands. And I was standing in the front of the jukebox, and this, like, we're talking about a globally successful international punk band. And I explained to him how the jukebox, he did not know that what a fucking 7-inch single was. I had to lift the lid on the jukebox. He's looking in there going, are you fucking shitting me? He's watching the arm, grabs the 7-inch single, puts it down, and like, what the fuck? Los Angeles, what the fuck? You're a successful band. Like, anyway.
yeah. It's an education. So Cherry Bar is also an educational experience.
Exactly. We're educating every day.
Yeah.
We're learning things as we speak.
Cherry Rock Festival in Melbourne in ACDC Lane is become a really sort of unique event on the Melbourne music calendar, and I think it pretty much sells out straight away every year. And just that the atmosphere and that vibe that they get in that laneway when it's jam packed and everyone's rocking out, there's nothing quite like it. And we've been lucky enough to play there a couple of times. Once inside the Cherry Bar, and then when we filmed our video for the song Bozo off our first album, we played in the laneway, and it was certainly one of my favourite gig experiences. And yeah, it was just amazing to have all those Melbourne music lovers there going crazy, going nuts, and we were like lucky enough to have the whole thing sort of captured. So if you want to check that out on YouTube, you can, and it gives you a bit of an idea of what it's actually like. Yeah, we had this like little drone helicopter sort of flying over the audience, and we had a full crew there, so it was certainly something I'll never forget, that's for sure.
Fuck
biggest learnings over 9 years of running a festival like this?
That's a good question. Well, one of the things I have learnt in the city of Melbourne, you actually need a permit to take a dump. Like the amount of rigmarole you have to go through to host a festival. Honestly, if I knew how much work was involved, I would have never, ever started it. But thankfully, we've gone through the pain and the suffering, and it's such a pleasure to host this festival because I'll come out with like potentially a dislocated shoulder from the amount of pats on the back that I will get this evening from the Melbourne music community, and it fills my it fills my soul with joy to host this festival. I only put on bands I love. People say, don't do what you love, don't tour bands you love. Yeah, fuck that. The whole essence of this festival is bands I like, put them on, and I'm just lucky that there's 800 or so people in Melbourne who share my musical taste and come on and make it worthwhile.
James Young's a very passionate and involved man in the music scene, and he's certainly responsible for sort of giving my band a leg up several times over the years. So we love James Young. He's certainly a very eccentric and out there dude, but just a loving guy, and just puts his heart on his sleeve and does great things for our music scene down in Melbourne.
James Young is a character that the world seems to be losing. There's not so many people like that anymore who support art, who are in themselves stars, who enable so many other people to make music, and he guarantees them a crowd in his great bar, and he supports them, and that is rare in the modern era of rock music.
It's a special place. What are the shows that kind of stuck in your mind over the years?
Oh, that's a far-reaching question. We've had some, the Black Keys, the New York Dolls, Graveyard, but also at the same time you'll have a special moment where a little local bands will play, because as much as I love my Rolling Stones and paying a fortune to sit a kilometre from
$500 and shit, it's like, whoa, dude.
At the end of the day, you can come and see the Drunk Mums on a Wednesday night for $5, and if you want to, you can actually touch the fretboard. They actually want you to touch the fretboard because they're very needy, that band, the Drunk Mums. But you can't. I prefer, my greatest gigs of my whole life have always been the intimate, close.
You can touch people's sweat. You leave covered in sweat, and it's not even your sweat, and it's kind of gross, but it's kind of awesome.
Yep, I agree exactly. I've been told off a few times for getting too close to the bands, but the point is, the best shows you'll ever see in your life are the intimate, close ones.
Yeah, and that's why this bar's really special. I mean, I don't think you don't get that feeling, and I think in a world where we're constantly communicating via internet and message and all this kind of stuff, nothing really compares to a live show, and it never will. Like, it's going to be like this forever, and it's nice to know some things are forever.
Yeah, you're at a good venue where you feel guilty if you pull out your phone. And that is the case at Cherry. If someone made the mistake of putting the iPad in the air at Cherry Bar,
shit would go down.
I think it would be a mini revolution. We look after one another, but it's like, dude, that's not on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you a story about this. see this ACDC ring that actually talks. It's got Bon Scott's birth date and when he passed, right? So when ACDC Lane was christened, and I was involved with that. Imagine the smartest marketing move of all time, changing Corporation Lane to ACDC Lane. We never have to advertise ever again. Every interstate, international person wants to come to ACDC Lane. So I'm DJing on the day that ACDC Lane is christened. And a gentleman comes up to me and hands me this ring, this handmade ring, and he's a jeweller, and he says, I made this for you, and he hands it over. I'm busy DJing, I'm queuing a record, Sin City, here we go. And it slips on my finger. It's like Cinderella's slipper. Like a glove. It slips on. I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at Bon Scott. I'm going, this is going to cost me $350, $400. I'm reaching for my wallet, prepared to pay the jeweller who's handmade the ACDC ring for me. I look up, he's disappeared. It was a fucking phantom, just like the gift from the gods. I still don't know to this day who that person was. It could have been
mystical.
I gave him nothing. I'm fucking busy. So I gave him absolutely nautical. I have no idea who it was, but as I say, like a glove. So this was like a gift from the jeweler of the gods. I don't know who you are or where you are to this day, but thank you so much for the ACDC / Cinderella's Schlipper.
From Beastwars to James Young, from the bottom of our heart, thank you for everything you've done for this group. You have allowed us to go to Melbourne many times, and we just can't thank you enough. You're a great man.
You're a great man.